Hey guys, Eric here at the Bethlehem Golf Club. I want to talk to you today about one simple trick to finally fix your backswing for good. And I mean that there actually is one simple trick. This isn't a clickbaity title. There is one simple thing. Now, before we dive into that, two things I want to talk to you about quick. Number one, throughout this year, we have put together a full series of master classes specifically designed to fix one thing about your game. We have early extension, we have rotation master class, we have a senior golfer master class, we have shallow your downswing. We have a whole different series of master classes, most of them 20 to 30 videos, well over an hour of content each, specifically designed again to fix that one part of your game. If you haven't checked out our master classes, I would highly recommend that. It's sort of a step two to these YouTube videos to help you get to the next level with your game. We'll put a link in the description down below to explain how to do that. Now, all of our members at CogornoGolf.com get all of those master classes for free. They also get access to all of the content on CogornoGolf.com. We have our practice section, we have quick fix, we have really step-by-step guided learning of all of the parts of your game, as well as our Facebook group, which is to me the most important, where you can post your swing, I can watch it, give you specific feedback to take you to the next level. So if you want to go beyond these YouTube videos, those are the two things to check out. Check out the master classes, check out CogornoGolf.com. I know we can help you take your game to the next level. Now, this one simple fix for your backswing, it really is only one thing. Whether I'm teaching in-person lessons here at Bethlehem Golf Club, or we're doing online, or with the membership site, usually in the backswing, we see a lot of the same flaws, okay? A lot of swings, right? Probably 60, 70% of the backswings that we see in some way, shape, or form end up too flat, okay? Too flat meaning when you take the backswing, the shaft gets too horizontal at some point during the backswing, right? And the common pattern we see with that, if this is you or you know them, is, you know, either it'll happen in the takeaway, sort of hands out, club in look, right? Or even if your takeaway's fine, it'll start to get too flat from there. All of those backswing issues, right? The backswing getting too flat, that's a problem because you'll always get the opposite reaction in transition and downswing. That means if you have a steep downswing, right? So if you come back and you get too flat, when you go back, too horizontal, almost always from there, other than like one or two players, you're gonna get too steep during the initial part of the downswing, which leads to a host of problems. Again, probably the most common pattern I see. If your backswing, if you look at good backswings, right, their backswing stays on plane the whole time, or what good players do is they lean more towards a vertical shaft, okay? So this trick I'm going to show you and what you need to do really is about that, is about backswing plane, how to finally fix it for good. So if you're someone who has a perfect backswing right on plane, which might be like 3 or 4 of you maybe total, or if you have a backswing that gets pretty darn vertical, then I'm going to say you're okay, okay? You're in the maybe 5 to 10% of golfers who are fine. If you're not, and or if you have any kind of steep downswing issue, over the top, any of that, this is really going to apply for you. What is this thing I'm talking about? Well, in your backswing, whether the club goes horizontal or vertical is really all controlled by how your left arm works. Okay, so how my left arm, and really we're going to specifically look at my left elbow during the backswing, controls whether my shaft is on plane, horizontal, or vertical. And the one thing about my left arm that controls that, and what this trick is arm rotation. Now, I think most people understand that there's forearm rotation, but not a lot of people also understand that there's shoulder, kind of the upper arm rotation. Let me explain here what I mean and how that controls your backswing plane to fix this. If I held my left arm up here like this and kind of have my thumb up towards the sky, from my elbow to my wrist, we'll call that my forearm. Now I can rotate my forearm. My thumb can go away from the target, it can go up in the air, or it can go towards the target, right? So my hand can go this way in space. That would be specifically forearm rotation from about elbow to wrist. Now that's part of it. How much I rotate my forearm or not during my backswing is going to control part of my swing plane. Let me explain, but that's not the whole deal. If I make a backswing and here's my thumb pointed away from the target and I get my thumb pointed behind me, you notice that shaft gets too flat, right? Here's my thumb pointed away would be neutral. Well, if my thumb's pointed this way away from the target, you see that would take my takeaway more outside. So that's part of it. How much forearm rotation? Less forearm rotation, thumb more this way, would keep the club head more outside. More forearm rotation or thumb inside would make it go more flat, and that's part of it. But the trick of this, and the one thing not a lot of people talk about, is the upper arm rotation or shoulder rotation. So I've got this thumb rotation, right? But at some point, my thumb goes about 90 degrees. I can rotate it about 90, you can try this with me. You can rotate it 90 degrees towards the target, that's supination, or you can rotate it 90 degrees away from the target, but that's about as far as it goes. For me to get my thumb down towards the ground, I now have to induce shoulder rotation. So watch how this works. So now my forearm rotation's done. For me to get down there, let's see how my elbow moves. Watch when I do my forearm rotation, my elbow stays in the same spot, down towards the ground. That's just forearm rotation. Now, for me to get that all the way towards the ground, my elbow has to go up towards the sky. That's shoulder rotation, or this way. I can only go this far here, that's it, I'm done in terms of external, but I can go this way all the way down towards the ground. This is the secret here, is this upper portion of your arm from shoulder to elbow, and how do you control your backswing? And what I mean is this, where my elbow points, and where it points at setup, as well as the backswing is going to make a huge difference. When I take my setup position with just my left arm, my elbow can point anywhere from probably at the target, right, would be internally rotated this way at the target. It can point about 45 degrees behind me, or I probably can rotate my upper arm all the way to the point where my elbow points kind of more at my left hip. Now what you want to do is have your arm more under, like this with your left arm, more tucked under, okay, that's externally rotated. That's your elbow more in towards you. Now, why would you want to do that? When I have that more in, okay, I have my elbow more in, I'm going to keep my elbow pointed at my hip, but I'm going to turn my arm from here to here to take my grip. You see the difference between that there? Now, if I keep my elbow pointed at me as I do my takeaway motion, and then down towards the ground as I go back, that's the secret to getting my backswing on plane or vertical. If I take my setup, right, one more time, I don't want to set up with my elbow pointed at the target. That presets my arm rotated this way, which presets horizontal on the way back. If I have my elbow towards the target, that makes me want to rotate my shoulder and my forearm. It's going to go too far underneath here. I want to have my elbow under, have my elbow at my body, turn my hand to take my grip. My elbow stays in. Now when I do my backswing to keep it on plane, my elbow stays pointed at me my whole takeaway. If I kick my elbow and it's pointed at me and I make that point towards the target as I work back, what happens? My hands go away from my body and my arm and my club starts to roll. When I do my backswing, if my elbow points horizontal this way, my club wants to be flat. If I take my elbow down towards the ground, my club wants to be more vertical. That's the secret. Keep your arm under at address, elbow more towards you. Keep the elbow towards you as you do your takeaway. You should feel it kind of tight against your body and your elbow pointed down. Club head hinges in front of you. Keep the elbow down until left arm parallel. Don't let your elbow go this way. So let's go ahead and demonstrate one of those. My arm here again is going to be tucked under this way, like this, elbow towards me, and then I'm turning my hand to make my grip on there. Elbow staying towards me and then down towards the ground. Tucked under at address, towards me, and down towards the ground. And what that does is sets my backswing up where it gets more vertical. Okay, let's do that again one more time. So I take my setup position, tucking my left arm under like this, and then turning my hand, elbows under, keeping my elbow towards me to about here, and then down towards the ground. You see that shaft goes more vertical. Elbow tucked under, towards me and down, and that keeps the club beautifully out in front of me. The whole purpose of that is then I'm going to get a reaction during my downswing. So if I can keep the shaft more vertical, right? Think about it this way. Elbow towards me like this. If I'm actually holding it with my right hand, this would be a good way to drill it in. Elbow towards me, elbow down towards the ground. Don't let it rotate this way. Keep it down towards the ground. And then in transition, naturally it's going to want to go this way, which does what to the shaft? Shallows it. So you want to have your elbow under, elbow in, keep it more vertical going back with a little hinge, and then it's going to naturally want to shallow when you come down. If you go back and get your elbow out, it's going to want to go this way when you come down steep. That's the deal. Let's do that one more time. So I feel that, grab my arm, elbow under, tuck my arm under, left hand turned, good. So I'm getting my grip there through forearm rotation. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's go ahead and try that. Hands a little sweaty, elbow under, towards me, and then to the ground. And if you do that, that's gonna make your backswing get really, really nice and vertical. Now, like for me on that last one, I didn't turn it all. Like you still gotta do your other stuff that's in your swing, but how you set your backswing up, that is the trick. If you get your upper arm correlated correctly, it's almost impossible to not have a backswing that's on plane or vertical. There's still some risk conditions along with it, but start with that. Just work that feeling. Get used to having your arms and hands like this, palms away from you. Turn your left hand to 45. Elbows under, tucked under like this. Turn your left hand to 45. Keep that arm under, keep it vertical, and then let that flatten in transition. Now that feels good, I'm gonna do one more. So under, turned, keep it towards me. Elbow feels, this elbow feels like it's at my belly button. It's not really, and then points down towards the ground. You might feel a little stretch here in your shoulder. Elbow towards me, down, and make sure I turn enough. Those are the pieces I can do to set up my downswing to shallow mo. So if you wanna steepen your backswing, you wanna fix your steep downswing, right, and finally fix your backswing, look at that upper arm, set it at address. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video and want to support our channel, would really appreciate you doing me a big favor. Click that like button down below, click the subscribe, leave a comment what you thought about the video, maybe topics you'd want to see, just your general thoughts. The more action we get, the more YouTube sends our video out, really helps us help more people. If you like these YouTube style videos, we'll put another YouTube video card here on the screen for a similar video. If you want to go to cogornogolf.com, work with me, I would love to work with you. Click the logo, that'll send you to cogornogolf.com. Would love to see you there.